speech becomes debris from a wrecked vessel lies strewn and half-buried on the seabed. Seeing no remains of the crew, you wonder if they were eaten before or after they drowned. You need to get close. Examining the heavily waterlogged remnants of the vessel, you notice an old antique bottle, half buried in the sand. With great difficulty, you lean over in your saddle and manage to scoop it up. You remove the cloth from the bottle. You can't. You saw a sharky in the sea. He quickly made a meal of thee. If you want your life prolonged, next time don't delay so long. Your speech. You glance at the shark nervously, but it does not seem to be paying you much attention, fortunately. Your speech. Examine. You can't. You remove. You can't. These small, luminescent fish are feeding on a strange-looking plant. This dark green, weed-like grass seems to have a saccharine content. Some small fish appear to be feeding on the plant. You need. You lean over and pick some of the grass, which grows in between the rocks. You chew. You stuff the sugary grass into the empty bottle and push it all the way to the bottom. You place the baited bottle on the seabed, close to the luminescent fish. A few of the glowing fish are now swimming around inside the bottle. There is nothing of interest. There is. You take the bottle. The Sharky guards are menacing in appearance, and you imagine they could do you a fair amount of damage if they were so inclined, and you believe they are. Any conversation you could have with them would involve only where you would prefer to be skewered, and you doubt that they'd even afford you that courtesy. Maybe a frontal approach wasn't such a good idea. This underwater realm belongs to the Sharkies. The water drops noticeably in temperature as you progress further into it. There are bound to be sentries on patrol around here, so you remind yourself to be alert. It appears to be another part of the... Having noticed the fish moving suspiciously in and out of the rock wall, you reach out and touch it. To your astonishment, your hand passes right through. The western wall is but an illusion. You easily pass through it into a series of caves and tunnels on the other side. A large opaque shell seemingly blocks a tunnel to the north. Whatever lies in that direction must be very important. You slide your blade through a small gap in the door and pull with all your might. It is difficult handling your weapon underwater, and you realize that combat will not be an option. So if it ever comes to that, you're in big trouble. As you open the door, ample light floods into the underwater cave, and you are now able to make your way around without the glowing fish. Oh no, the seahorse has followed you. Let's hope it doesn't give your presence away. You are safely concealed behind the remnants of a stone archway. This is fortunate, as the king of the Sharkies is also here. Aside from his menacing appearance, he also seems to be in a very bad mood.
I do not understand it. It should work for me. Is it not written that Trident's power can only be wielded by those of goodwill? Well, is it not?
The king's aides nod fervently.
And do I not possess the greatest will in this kingdom? No one can best me in battle. My resolve is unshakable. No amount of bleeding can dissuade me from slaughtering my enemies. Does this not signify that my will is the best there is?
The Sharky King's aides seem all too willing to agree.
Then why does it not work?
You watch carefully as the Sharky King taps 4 shells in order around the arch.
matters not. Tomorrow we invade the Merpeople's territory, for without the Trident's power, that old fool Neptune and his weakling followers will fall before our might. Goodwill. Ha! Mine is superior to all.
As he leaves, the Sharky King motions for his guards to remain. Two formidable Sharkies are guarding the treasury. The throne is not actually a seat, since the Sharky King would not sit in it as such. This throne room is cluttered with the remnants of countless pillagings and plunderings. It reminds you of an underwater pirate's lair. It's obvious that the Sharky King clearly wishes to express his love of war to all his guests, aides, and victims. The remains of human bones litter the throne room. Your stomach churns as you realize they probably belong to the crew of the sunken vessel that you searched earlier. Having an idea, you approach your somewhat reluctant steed and slap him hard on the back. Look at him go! The guards are momentarily distracted. Now is your chance. You push on the shell. It moves back slightly into the wall. Despite yourself, you cannot help but marvel at the treasure. It must have been collected or stolen over many years, and as such, there are coins and jewels originating from all over the world. The trident is rusty and corroded. It looks something like a pitchfork. Without delay, you snatch up the trident before the guards return to their posts. It appears as if the guards are losing interest in the seahorse. You had better get out of here quickly. The guards might have lost interest in chasing your seahorse, but they were quite interested in chasing you. Having an look at him. Without delay. It appeared oh no, the seahorse has followed you all the way back to the secret entrance. The guards are sure to discover you now. remount the seahorse. Your seahorse glides onward, flicking its little tail faster than ever. You grip the reins tightly, glancing nervously over your shoulder every so often to check for pursuing sentries. As you make distance, your anxiety melts into relief. But it is to be short-lived. Finally, you see the light at the end of the tunnel. You quickly make a dash for the exit. As you emerge, you realize you have only seconds before the guards come out after you. And even if you could outrun them, you're sure the commotion would attract the sentry's attention. Then you'd be in real trouble. Suddenly, you hear a strange voice in your head.
He of noble and goodwill, royal trident thou may wield.
You wonder what that did, if anything at all. Oh. The trident guides you back to Neptune's realm. You approach the king. He smiles and graciously accepts his trident from you. Then he calls everyone to attention.
To commemorate the return of my trident, and to honor King Graham's success, I hereby call for a celebration.
The celebration lasts for some time. You eat, drink, and have a merry time with many of the mer people. After a few hours, the festivities wind down, and you finally have a chance to speak with Neptune alone.
The gems of nature represent the 3 stages of life. Water gives birth to life. and thus what I have given you is the first of 3. Second is the growth gem, or air gem, for air sustains life and permits it to grow.
How might I find the growth gem?
I know only that its location is as far above the surface of the land as we are below it. Beyond that, I cannot aid you.
A smirk crosses Neptune's face momentarily.
You might say that air is not exactly my element.
You decide that the beverages consumed were to blame for that one.
And the third gem, Your Majesty?
Third is the death gem, the completion of life and the natural order of things. The Door of Destiny understands this now, as did the ancients who imprisoned the soul within. As for that gem's location, I had hoped you would have no business venturing to the castle. Kolima was once ruled from that place, but sadly her people have not seen their lord for quite some time. But if you please, I would prefer not to dwell upon this subject. You have done me a great service this day, and I thank you. Good luck, King Graham, and good speed.
You depart the underwater kingdom and head back towards the surface. What an incredible experience. You are certain you'll never forget the adventure you just had. Additionally, you have acquired one of the gems. As you resurface, you realize that the magic which allowed you to breathe underwater has now subsided. The leaning. You peer behind the palm tree. Lo and behold, you have found the little girl's missing basket. You take the basket. You can't. You hand the basket to Possum.
Thank you, kind sir. Please take this flower. I'm afraid it's all I have to give you.
It is more than enough. I notice that you have picked only yellow flowers.
Of course. Is it not customary for one to pick yellow flowers for another who is gravely ill?
Certainly it is. I'm sorry to hear about your grandma, Possum.
Thank you. Goodbye.